All right, so we're working with Eric today. Very good client and friend. Done a lot of work on him, done his whole leg here, his arm, parts of his other arm. I think the most recent is this portrait we did. We got it all healed now, looking good. So this is today's design. This is for the inner part of his leg, so all here. We're gonna be starting with this angel right here. And then it'll move up into the cherubs and then to the final big portrait. But yeah, we're really just gonna be focusing on this today. I mean, I love this design. I really like the contrast, nice and dark at the bottom, kind of creates this cool like V shape, which will look really nice down in here. And then it moves up lighter, lighter by the arms, and then pretty much skin tone on the face. So that's gonna draw the attention right to the face. And then we kind of have these mid-tone dark wings around, which is just gonna frame out the whole piece. So that is gonna look amazing. I got my stencil here. Left it pretty basic. There's a lot of crazy things going on in the robe. So I tried to dumb it down as much as I could just to make my life easier with the shading. So we got the stencil printed out. We have our stencil here. Looks good, just bigger than the size of a paper. I have this here, which will kind of give us the room to put those cherubs in here, and then, big portrait on the inside. So we'll probably be here, we'll get the stencil on, shave him up, get this on. We are gonna be focusing on the angel today, and I really want to break down how we're gonna shade this thing. And I'm gonna try to make it or describe it in like a really palatable, easy to understand way for everyone. We're gonna be breaking it down into 3 parts, always. Everything's gonna be in 3s, We're gonna look at like dark, medium, light, and we're gonna be breaking down little segments of the angel the whole time, and we're gonna be sticking to that rule of 3 routine. Odd numbered things look better, and it's just how I kind of approach every piece, but especially this one has no lines. It's only gonna have the shading. What I mean by that is the black to frame and have longevity. So we're gonna attack that today. This is a great piece to do it because it literally has, the whole thing is a fade. Like it's dark on the bottom. So we're gonna be working with black, dark shadow, mid-tone. All our mid-tones are in the center, so we'll get to do 3 different shades of mid-tones in the center, and then the light, and then the whole piece itself is broken into 3. So we're gonna attack that in that way today. Yeah, I just kind of marked the center point with him standing up so that I could come back and just lay him down and stencil it. So we have this on, fits really well, nice round up here, which is kind of like natural with the muscle that's going in on there. We have this coming down here. It touches the tattoo behind that you can kind of see there. So any open space I do want to try to eliminate so that it looks nice and cohesive together. We have a little bit of an opening on the front there, but nothing I'm worried about. We're about to get in on this piece, gave it 10 minutes to dry. So I want to take a look at the reference really quick. As I talked about before, if we break this into 3 parts, we have the light, the medium, and the dark. So it's almost like knee down is this dark part. So we'll find our knee real quick, which is right here, and it's almost a straight line. This part is a little bit lighter, and then all this down here is dark. So we're gonna be focusing on this in the beginning. Also, this wing is dark here, right? So that's dark. We want our background to be light. So this fade, I will bring this into this tattoo here, but not too dark, because we remember that this is dark to create some kind of contrast there. Now, all in this, we're gonna be working in 3, like I talked about, 3 different shades: black, dark gray, and medium. So I'll just pull up like this area here. So this is black, you know, which is right here, black. This is all dark shadow. So like all this is gonna be dark shadow. And I'll probably make the tips black, just for fun, just to be crazy. And then this here is gonna be medium. And I'm gonna be doing this throughout the whole piece. So like this here, you know, medium, this is gonna be dark. I'm just simplifying, you know, even if we look at the foot here, black, around the toes, black. This is all gonna be medium. And then we'll have maybe a mid-tone a little bit here. But if we're going based on our 3, this is really just 1 and 2. It's black and dark shadow. Okay, things are looking a little simpler, you know. Black, light, dark shadow. This is what I'm gonna be following the whole piece just to make it simple, easy. I'm not gonna get lost, especially in this crazy robe thing that she's got going on. I created this in AI, so you gotta be careful. Sometimes those robots throw in some crazy shit. We're gonna be double checking our reference and following this thirds or 3 pattern. So let's get into it. We're gonna start with right around here. So we are starting with the black. I've talked about this in like pretty much all the videos, that we're gonna start with the dark spots. We're gonna build them together. So this area is black. I'm gonna get it to like a 50%. A lot of times, like in the dark areas, I'm a little hesitant to just make it solid black right off the rip, because I want the black to be part of a piece. I don't want it to be like this separate thing. And sometimes if you hammer in the black with like a line, or you just like solid pack it right away, sometimes you see like this huge separation between the solid black and the grays, and I don't want that. I want it to like all flow together nicely. So I build it together. So we're just kind of framing this out down here, which I'm gonna leave pretty simple. If you look at the design, there is like a lot of little details, and you know, some of them I might put in there, but most of them I'm gonna take away. And it might just turn into like a clean fade. You know, like this is gonna be pretty simple down here. And maybe when you're like in the piece, it looks too simple, but you pull back and you see it as a part of the entire piece, and it looks great. So yeah, like I said, we're gonna be working in thirds today. We're gonna make things really simple. And then after we've applied our thirds, you know, our dark, medium, light, we can come back in and decide you know, if we want to add little details or little accents. So there's right here is kind of this like lip, or this like bend in the cloth that creates this little cast shadow. So that's going to be, you know, a dark. We have another one of those right here. So I'm plotting out my blacks. And this is like a great area to show you guys what I'm talking about, because it is a little bit more simple. So like that's kind of where our blacks are going. And then this is gonna be dark, so I'm gonna kind of like go over. So this would be like our dark shadow. So our middle tone for this area. We got a little, here is gonna be like kind of a lighter area. So then I'm just gonna shade around that for our dark shadow. So black, mid-tone, dark shadow. And then this one's pretty easy. It's like black here, and then dark shadow. And I'm going over my black. I'm building it together. And then that'll be our mid-tone. And remember, our mid-tone is still kind of dark, you know? So now I'm just gonna go over the whole thing. And I'm gonna finish this little piece for you guys so you can see like kind of exactly what it'll look like. You know, I'm just making sure that our thirds are staying intact. So I'm going over the black again now, making sure that's intact. Okay. Going over my shadow again. And I'm using straight black as I'm doing this, which works for the 3RL. I might have to change it up if you're like doing a mag. And then you can see like right in there, there's like a little fold. And then I just kind of put in a little shade there. That'd be like our little detail. And we kind of got that shape going there nice, you know? I'm just gonna build it up a little bit more. So we got that. We put in the black one last time, really make sure it's black. Cool, and there we have it. And this is just the technique I'm gonna be using through the whole piece. Just because it doesn't have lines, I'm gonna go around the border on the outside just to kind of like lock it in. Give it a little bit of a frame here, you know, and these are decisions I'm making after I see our fade. But it's kind of a perfect example of the thirds, the working in threes. You know, we have our black here, our dark shadow here, and then our mid-tone, which is our lightest area there. And that's the range we're gonna be staying in for this whole under the knee bottom part. So I'll work a little bit more on this and check back in with you guys when I'm done. So we are making our way to the end of the tattoo. You can see we have our dark section here, our mid-tone section here, and our lighter section there, especially on like the breastplate. So what I'm doing now, let me wipe it off so you guys can take a look at where we're at, because this last part we're doing is pretty crucial. We have this area which really just has our darks and our shadows. You know, we move up to the midsection where I left a bunch of negative skin. Then I just kind of lightly shaded over this negative skin, and that would kind of be like our light tone, where up in here, majority is negative space. You know, and this creates this separation between these three different kind of value systems. So I'm gonna be doing two things now just to tune up the piece. I'm gonna be coming back with a mag to the areas that are more like mid-tone and dark, and I'm gonna be getting rid of the skin tone. I'm gonna make it like a light gray, and this is going to solidify that it is in a mid-tone area. So just to make things easy, let's call this number 3, this is 2, and this is 1. So 1's all our lights, 2 is our mid, 3 is our dark. So the wings to me are kind of in this 2 range, this mid-tone range, which doesn't have that much skin tone. So I'm gonna come in with a mag quick. I'm just gonna darken the entire thing. And this is just to get rid of the skin tone that's there. I want it to just be like gray, because this 2 area is up against our 1. So this is gonna create nice separation between those areas. So even just by taking this like lighter gray and just quickly coming over this side of the wing after I put the details in, we can already see this nice separation from her shoulder and the wing. And then I'm just gonna kind of continue that. Just get rid of all this negative space, turn it into light gray, and by brushing over it lightly, I get to keep all the detail in there. You know, and giving special attention next to our light areas. Keep that kind of nice and crisp. You know, good contrast. I'm on the shin here, so I'm being a little bit careful. We got like that thin skin on the shin. You don't want to tear it up. So this is one of the rare times during the tattoo that you're gonna see me use a mag. Cool, so we got that blocked out. Just get the top here, add a little bit more dark. Because we did flatten it a little bit by doing the gray. So I'll just bump up the contrast a little bit on the top here. Cool, looking good. Now, the hair, we're kind of considering it that 2 area because it has blacks and kind of light. So I'm gonna bump that up against the shoulder here. And that's gonna create more separation with the hair. I think I'm whispering because it's getting late. I'm using my inside voice. Fritz is very close to me, I don't want to scare him. Now, especially in the negative area at the top here, I was going so light. I need to just double check that all the structure is intact, because sometimes I'm moving pretty quick and I'm like forgetting that it needs to have a frame. And because it has a lack of black, it's kind of easy to forget. So I'm just gonna like double check my main areas, which is like here. I'm just gonna kind of put a line in there, you know, bump that structure. This top one has a nice one, but we'll just double check. On the side here, it looks like I did miss this line, so right here, put that in. Since it's like just on the outside there, I'm actually gonna bump it up a little bit, but this is like a structural point, you know? So I'm checking the areas here. I'm gonna add a little bit there around the thumb, just to keep that thumb in front. And like I said, just making sure it has good structure in those light. You don't need a lot of them, but if you do the right kind of dark in that super light area, you're fine. It'll hold the rest of the piece. Even if it ends up being a little bit light, it's fine if most of that is skin tone. And then the last thing I'm noticing is I'm just gonna make this mid-tone a little bit more of a midsection, because we do still have some light spots in. So just to make his life a little easier, I'm gonna spray him with Bactine real quick, just because we're gonna go over that. It's kind of been sitting a while. So we'll give that 5 minutes, and then I'll hit it with the mag, and then we're really done for the day. I'm just gonna brush over, like literally just underneath the arms. I'm gonna brush a light gray, kind of like we did in the wing, and then we're gonna call it for the day. Yeah, we'll leave the halo and like the top of the wings, kind of a bloodline, because next session we'll put some cherubs behind it. So we're calling it for a day. We got the pictures, the videos, we're just wrapping them up. I hope the breakdown was helpful. I know I'm always making things complicated when I tattoo, and any reminder or like way to just kind of simplify it, break it down into small areas, you know, like we did today with thirds, just helps me stay more consistent, help me build patterns. You know, hopefully this is something you guys can use in your own tattoos. But it is late, and we're going home.